Mamelodi Sundowns need to start to embrace this rivalry between them and TS Galaxy. And I know a lot of people will say, no, this was a battle between Rulani Mukwena and Seth Ramovic. No, it's moved on from that level to now to the veins of these two clubs. And I know Sundowns want to play this rivalry down. They're saying, no, these guys are not actually our rivalry. Think about the fact that if you're looking at Sundowns and TS Galaxy recent history in terms of their fixtures, you will realize that the results actually don't really favor Sundowns that much. It can be a 50-50, but if you're looking at last season, the competition that they knocked Sundowns out, the 3 point they took in the last game of the season as well. And I think you're looking at those things and some of the games that's where actually they raise the bar to a level that they understand that they are playing against their rivalry. Let me tell you something so that you can understand what I'm saying. They need to actually embrace this rivalry. Think about the fact that Chiefs and Pirates, the derby, it's always one of the biggest games actually in the PSL. I remember the times when Orlando Pirates were in a state of Kaizer Chiefs, and then Kaizer Chiefs was just dominating, making sure that they're winning a trophy every season, and we were not even winning like a cup of coffee. Like, that was just difficult. But every time there was a derby, I will see a performance that I was wishing that those players can put this kind of performance in all the games they are playing in the PSL. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And all the time, you realize that the results prior to that game didn't even matter that much. For the longest time when I was growing up, the derby was always a draw, like a 1-1 draw, and not draw there. And then it started getting goals as we move along towards these times now. And then it started actually showing us players raising their bar from being a team that is actually not performing in that level. And this is what is happening with Sundowns and TS Galaxy. Think about the fact that you will watch a TS Galaxy game midweek or weekend, and then when they play against Sundowns, they raise that bar to another level. And now it's becoming to be a thing where Sundowns need to stop focusing in Soweto because we are not rivals. And today, you have to make sure that you win with an offside goal. We saw that. But yeah, to actually get those 3 points, because your rivalry was like, we are not giving you that. But if you look at the game, Sundown didn't have a good game, especially in the middle of the park. Because I think what happened with Allende was trying to play in that middle of the park, but there was no one to play with because Mvela said they were just there, making sure that they locked that midfield. They were pressing very high, trying to make Sundowns win the balls. And you remember that Coach Parker did say that they want to utilize the spaces behind the defense because they knew that Sundowns is going to try to play the ball from the back. And when they do so, they will try to press them high and then they win those balls and score those goals. But then, even though they scored those 2 goals, I'm still blaming our number 1 goalkeeper. I feel like some of the things with a good defense and the way you don't get tested so much, you just become a bad keeper. And I've been telling people that I've seen this person before in teams that dominate matches most of the time, that they usually don't have good keepers that you will rely on them to actually be like, go out there and give you saves and make sure that they're doing their job as a keeper. So this all plays into this rivalry thing because you don't know what is happening with Williams. But I can tell you, TS Galaxy, every time they play with Sundowns, they'll be like, we know that we don't have enough to fight you, but let me tell you something, I'm not going to forfeit. I'm going to go into that match and try to get whatever I can get out of that match. And they were actually supposed to get something out of this match, the way and the kind of performance they put, because they did everything, especially looking that middle of the park, forcing Sundowns to go wide, even though it actually went against them in the last minute when they were just letting Mdao go behind them and put those balls inside the box, which they causes like lot of problems before they actually got those 2 goals. But other than that, I think this rivalry, the fans, everyone at Sundowns, they need to take this rivalry seriously and make sure that they provoke these guys because TS Galaxy provokes them all the time. We need those kind of rivals in the PSL, man. Not everyone is trying to get to the boys in Soweto. Let the boys in Soweto do their own thing, and then maybe later on in the years, we'll have Swallows coming back and try to make that a big 3. But other people, they must just focus on where they are from and maybe go outside the province, man. Get that rivalry for you because I think it creates something for actually a team of Mamelodi Sundowns and also for TS Galaxy as well. And it's just a nice stories for PSL as well. That's something we can talk about and say this team struggle against this team. Even though we know that maybe the quality is not there, but this kind of performance make us happy here in the PSL. And that was just a good game. Sundowns managed to get the 3 points in their first game of the season since they postponed their first game due to unfortunate circumstances. Yeah, the English was just going out there. But yeah, I'll see you on the next one.